Okay, here we are. The house faces south. This is the east side of the garage. This is the water heater exhaust. And just imagine over here on your brick. Okay, just imagine nice rust streaks running down this brick right here. Kind of spongy right there. This is your water heater, tankless water heater. Okay. This is our thermostat, 120. This is our gas pipe, got a drip loop. Okay, got a discussion plate for our gas pipe. That's unusual. That's good. You're supposed to. Okay. This is that same vent pipe. This vent pipe is supposed to go out at 90 degrees or less, not more than 90 degrees, so the water would go down. The reason why they put it at such a slight tilt like that is because the way it should have been installed, according to these things, if you read these things, you'll learn, okay, that this is supposed to have this little nipple right here. That is a condensate drain port. And it's supposed to have a loop, and then it has no place to discharge to, so it would discharge into a safety pan that goes to the exterior. Because you hear a lot of people say, oh, these tankless water heaters don't need a safety pan. Manufacturer didn't require it to have a safety pan. Well, what they did require is have certain plumbing, okay, to occur that naturally would produce the need for a safety pan. Safety pan does not cost very much. But we're going to argue about it. We're going to get 3 or 4 people in here, hundreds of dollars, maybe $1,000 worth of time arguing about a safety pan. Think about it. So this little port, okay, is supposed to come out and have a loop and then discharge down here where a safety pan is. This is a high efficiency tankless water heater. This is a Porsche. This is a Lamborghini. This is not a little Ford Escort. Okay, so this is not your little. What happens is, see, we can have our exhaust. It's still exhausting carbon monoxide and noxious fumes and stuff like that. It's still doing that, but that's plastic because we have a heat exchanger inside of here, and so all the water is passed through the heat exchanger, and heat goes to less heat until it extrapolates all the money, all the gas that you paid for. It extrapolates it and transfers this gas into energy and that energy into your water. And the byproduct of such a process like that, it's practically a still. I mean, they drip a little bit of water, okay? It is a still. So what happens here is that without this port, anything that collects up in here, if it doesn't drain out there and down the side of your wall, which you don't want it to, but it collects inside of here and then comes back inside your heat exchanger until it boils off. And it's going to wreck your heat exchanger. Okay? So we paid a lot of extra money to get this high efficiency tankless water heater, and what are we going to do? We're going to replace it in 5 years. You'll never get a return on your investment. You'll never get a return on your investment if you're replacing these every 7 years. Okay, you want to return on your investment, then you're going to start having to replace, then you start looking at, let's get 15 years of use out of this thing. Okay, not 5 years. Okay, we want that drain. We want that drain right there. That drain right there, hillbilly home inspection. Is that all you got to say, bud? No, we got a care and use manual. We got over here. Now I'm going to jump around a little bit. This is on you, dear client. But this screen needs to be cleaned out once a year. Why? Because it's a Lamborghini. It's not a Ford Escort. We can just never change the air filter or the oil and just drive it in the ground and the hubcaps are missing and all that kind of stuff. It's not one of those. It's not one of these. You clean that out once a year, and you can go on YouTube and they'll tell you how to turn this and that and how to do it, or you can get a plumber to come out and do it, and then this will last about 15 years. And it saves you the trouble of it breaking. When you have company over for Christmas or something, you can't get a plumber out here, you got control of your situation. So that string is cleaned out. But let's go on to what's right and wrong here. Okay, besides this port, which I'm going to lean into, but besides that, this is your pressure relief valve. All right. Now, code says that you should have an air vacuum on the drain pipe in the same room with the water heater. Well, how would that, if you have an air gap, it's going to splash everywhere. It would splash everywhere, except that you got a safety pan here. That safety pan that everybody's arguing about, the safety pan nobody can get over, that one little safety pan, make everything right. Okay, that one safety pan just fix everything. So you have your air gap there, you'd have your drain for your condensate exhaust, you'd have all those things. That is kind of unusual because sometimes that's all I have to go by. And builders, they like it if I can tell them exactly what it is and point them in exactly the right direction. And that happens sometimes. I'm proud when I'm able to do that. But sometimes it's just seeing things that are unusual to you. And then, if it doesn't look right, but look at the gap on that pipe right there. I'm going to go home and do a little bit of reading up on that. Okay, I'm human. I am human. And besides me, the local jurisdiction having authority, the local code inspector, he's got a lot of power. And say, hey, Mr. Code Inspector, is this supposed to go like here? And you know what? He can tell you that I'm crazy. And that's okay. I'm not a proud man as long as you're taken care of. But what I'm saying is the code inspectors are overworked. Okay, a lot gets between the cracks, but they're human. When I mean human, I don't mean that they can make mistakes, because you don't have to be human to make mistakes, for sure. But I mean they're human because they're approachable. And you can call and you can ask. I said, this is my address at 123 Mockingbird Lane. And, you green tag this, and I'm looking at this, and I've got a question. Can you explain to me, everything is copacetic? And I think that you're going to find, in most cases, I found that the local code inspectors, are approachable. They're approachable. That's better than calling them human, I guess.